Thanks for joining us today to continue our discussion of evidence-based practices. Particularly, we have been talking about ways we can support the social development of our teenage students who are struggling with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Just to recap and establish the purpose of our inquiry, we will go over some of the social problems faced by this group of students.
I would like to present to you some important facts on our topic. From age 9, students are expected to engage in problem-solving tasks that require self-regulation of actions over extended periods of time. Teachers often assume incorrectly that medication ameliorates all problems associated with ADHD, unaware that these students silently suffer as executive function deficits persist through adolescence. Teens with ADHD tend to be less fluent than their peers in generating responses to a problem and feel more highly aroused in their affective response to new situations. Adolescents with ADHD show deficits in social knowledge, social perspective taking, and social interaction.
According to the American Psychiatric Association, teens with ADHD often have associated aggression, anxiety, and depression. They tend to be viewed as intrusive, inappropriate, disorganized, emotional, uncooperative, and bossy in peer relationships. I also want to stress the fact that peer victimization is the highest in middle school.
It is helpful to be aware of the gender differences that exist in the needs of our students. Salient points from our research on the topic include the following: social skill deficits, emotional volatility, lack of insight, and immaturity were noted by parents and teachers of boys with ADHD, which caused peer victimization or exacerbated chronic victimization. Girls with ADHD are more at risk for being rejected by peers through relational victimization. Boys report higher levels of bullying than girls, but this may be because reporting aggressive behavior is less socially desirable for girls.
Many of our students with ADHD are also dealing with victimization by peers. Chronic victimization increases risks for anxiety, loneliness, depression, social withdrawal, low self-esteem, suicidal tendencies, dislike and avoidance of school, and poor academic performance. Relational victimization, such as social exclusion and isolation, may be perceived as the most salient and distressing.
Social problem-solving deficits in childhood contribute to negative outcomes later in life. Victimization contributes to later social adjustment problems, such as friendlessness and peer rejection. Bullies are often impulsive, antisocial, and are at an increased risk for criminal behavior.
The purpose of our intervention is to improve outcomes for our students with ADHD. There are many forms of social skills training that aim to improve problem-solving skills. Our proposed intervention incorporates both SST and the use of technology.
Before beginning discussion of our proposed intervention, we'll give you some information on social skills training in general. SST refers to instruction designed to improve or facilitate the acquisition or performance of social skills. There are several different methods involved in SST, including the use of modeling, coaching, social problem solving, behavior rehearsal, feedback, and reinforcement strategies. Good SST programs use formative assessment to target specific skills to be taught to each individual student.
Now I'm going to give a brief overview of our intervention. It is child-centered direct instruction of social behaviors through video modeling, computer iPad-based problem-solving task scenarios, and eventual generalization to natural settings.
Now we are going to take a few minutes to watch a video explaining the recent research supporting the use of technology to teach social skills individually before moving on to natural environments. Keep in mind that the intervention described here is specifically designed for children with autism, and that there are modifications we have made to our program to make it suitable for our students with ADHD.
We've been talking about technology all this week, and you had some research that you wanted to share with us. So tell us, what do you have?
Yes, well, recently, earlier this week, there was a publication that was released to the public on teaching individuals social skills, and these are more adolescents, teenagers with high-functioning autism or Asperger's in a group setting using video models on iPads.
Cool.
So previous to this, there's been inconsistent results as far as group types of instruction for teaching social skills, but this study had really positive results in which each individual had an iPad with videos of different ways to engage with others, initiate conversations, and maintain conversations, and a bunch of different social skills like that. And they each had their own iPad, watched these videos, and then had a chance to practice with each other, which is, it makes sense that once you're learning the social skills, you have a group to actually practice these social skills with, but it was more of a structured setting. And a lot of times the feedback they were given was not in the moment what they should do differently, but you didn't actually do exactly as the video showed you to do, so watch it again, and then we'll try it again.
Okay.
So they were really taking advantage of the videos themselves instead of the person facilitating the group. And so there are a lot of implications for this for places that don't have a lot of resources.
Yeah.
To have multiple people leading these groups, they could do it based on these videos and then facilitate a larger group interaction where social skills are being taught. And not only did the individuals learn these skills, but it maintained over like 3 months after the videos were faded.
Wow.
So a really cool, great study. One thing that the research, another recent review in the last couple of years has shown is that video modeling is the primary method in which technology is used for teaching various social skills. And so there is still a lot of work that needs to be done on other means of using technology in these type of settings. But for video modeling, it does take a lot of time up front to actually tape people engaging in these social skills and everything like that. But it seems like
effective.
A method that is effective and can work for groups. Research has shown that individuals with autism tend to attend more to videos.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why this means is being implemented.
Really,
so
really
cool.
remarkable. And if people want to know more about this study, who is the study done by so that we can tell them where to go to see it?
This one is by Plavnik, Sam, Hume, and Odom. And it is in the journal Exceptional Children. In 2013, so it was just released, and we posted on our Autism Research Group Facebook page a link to this article earlier this week.
Okay, so Autism Research Group on Facebook, you can go there and get the link to that and other research, quite honestly, that will be meaningful to you. Really remarkable study. Thank you so much for sharing it, because as I said earlier, we get so many people who will write in and say, how can we work on social skills? Why isn't there stuff for teenagers? This is so desperately needed, and now we know here's something that's effective. Really remarkable.
Now we will briefly discuss the research providing evidence of a similar intervention that can work with our target population, students with ADHD.
This 2006 study by Fenstermacher was crucial in verifying the effectiveness of our proposed methods of SST. The participants of the study included 4 male children with ADHD in grades 4 through 7. The intervention targeted specific social skills sequences in a variety of computer-facilitated formats with video peer modeling, social problem solving, and reinforcement. The study included a multiple baseline design across participants with follow-up data taken at 3 and 6 weeks after intervention. The outcome showed that all participants increased in mean levels of social problem-solving skill performance and maintained their improved skills at 3- and 6-week follow-up assessments.
Our intervention focuses on these specific subskills because they are evidence to provide a general sequence of progression from simple social skills to more complex ones. The research tells us that students with ADHD benefit from learning discrete skills individually through video technology before generalization to naturalistic environments. These subskills include maintaining appropriate physical space, demonstrating self-control, other subskills include ending interactions appropriately,
before beginning the intervention, administer the SSRS, conduct interviews, and record observations of the student's behavior. Secondly, determine specific deficits to be addressed. Third, develop or purchase an SST program. Look for programs including direct instruction of social roles, peer modeling of social interactions, and multiple perspectives. Fourth, determine the time and setting in which the intervention will occur. Finally, begin intervention.
Step 1. Initial introduction to skill. Use video peer modeling, which demonstrates problem-solving strategies, identifies social situations requiring the use of the skill, verbalizes the sub-skill steps and the appropriate behavioral responses, and reviews each presented skill and sub-skill.
The second step of our intervention is to practice problem solving. We recommend doing this through interactive video scenarios that present real-life social situations, allow students to select one of several response options, and allow the student to reflect on consequences of their chosen option.
Here is an example of video peer modeling addressing disagreements.
Did you ever get into a disagreement with a classmate? Let's see what happens when Jake disagrees with his classmates while playing a game in the gym.
Jake, you're out. No, I'm not. Jake, you're out. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. You are out. No, I'm not.
Jake, you need to keep your hands to yourself. On the bench, please, for pushing.
Now, let's see what everyone is thinking.
I can't believe it. I don't want to be out. He's out. Why doesn't he just admit it? It's no fun playing a game with Jake when he's always arguing.
Jake's arguing made everyone feel annoyed, and his behavior got him kicked out of the game. Your classmates may have different opinions, but if the majority of people call you out, you're going to have to accept that decision, even if you thought you were safe. Let's take a look at what Jake can do differently to get a better outcome.
Jake, you're out. I don't think I was out, Kyle. No, you really were out. Fine, I'm out. But this is fun anyways.
The less time you spend arguing, the more time you have to play the game. To keep the game moving, agree to do a play over if it's too close to call. If you keep arguing your point instead of resolving the disagreement, nobody's going to have fun. Opinions are not facts, so sometimes you're going to have to agree to disagree. When there's a group disagreement, let the majority rule. Less arguing makes the game more fun for everyone. Have a do-over rule for plays that are too close to call. Sometimes you have to agree to disagree. Friends like classmates who can resolve disagreements.
Step 3. Student receives feedback. The feedback should comment on the student's use of social skills. Provide prompts for an appropriate response if the student chooses inappropriately. Reinforce their appropriate response choices.
Step 4 of our intervention addresses the issue of generalization of learned skills to natural environments. Keep in mind that this step may look different for different students. Some students may naturally generalize without any extra help, but some may need coaching or supportive peer groups to practice the skills first. You may need to modify the intervention for some students. Students with multiple disabilities may receive intervention in a separate location. Video self-modeling can be used if video peer modeling is ineffective. VSM requires videotaping the student performing the target behavior. It takes more time, but it is necessary for some students. Additional pre-assessment methods can be helpful in determining skill deficits, especially if a student has coexisting autism spectrum disorder. Also consider alternate data collection methods if necessary.
You can modify the intervention through teacher-directed peer group practice, which allows students to practice new skills in a safe environment.
The Social Skills Rating System, or SSRS, is a widely used measure of social competence for ages 3 to 18. It is designed for a broad population of children, so it might not be suitable for some students with multiple disabilities. If determined appropriate, we recommend administering the SSRS before treatment to determine skill deficits, and periodically during and after treatment as determined by the team.
Remember to track your data during the session. Record number of appropriate and inappropriate responses during interactive scenarios. Look for an increase in appropriate responses. If responses are not improving, provide further prompting and assistance. Once responses reach 80% accuracy or higher, move on to the next subskill. Once all subskills are mastered, begin to fade the intervention and facilitate use in natural settings.
Periodically conduct interviews and record observations of the student interacting in various settings. Pay attention to the child's appropriate and inappropriate use of social problem solving in natural settings to determine if further intervention is needed.
To wrap up, here's a video that shows direct instruction.
Always say please when you're asking someone to do something. And thank you when someone does something for you. And when someone thanks you, say, you're welcome.
Julian, could you pass me the scissors, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If you want to end a conversation, try to do it gracefully and give a reason.
Oh, hold up.
I'm not really sure how to do it.
I have to talk to her about something.
Okay.
So we can talk later.
All right. Bye, Michelle.
You also need to avoid standing so close to people that you make them uncomfortable. It's good to stand about 18 inches away from a person when you're talking. That's usually a little less than an arm's length away for most people. People will generally find ways to let you know when they want you to get closer.
Here are some online resources which you can find on your handout.
Many journals provided helpful information, allowing us to conclude that our intervention is research-based and effective. If you are interested in examining the research further, please see the following articles available online. Here we have the 2013 article from Exceptional Children referenced in the first video in our presentation. Below that is the multiple baseline across participants quantitative study that we use to support and develop our intervention. Teacher-friendly articles are also available in your handout additionally.